Hi, my name is Megan Atevle. I make interactive floors and interactive walls for a living, and every single week I come to YouTube and I show you how to make an interactive floor or an interactive wall. This week, I'm going to show you how I made this really cool effect. I call it falling stars. A bunch of stars fall from the sky and you can kick them around. This type of effect is extremely popular at parties and in play centers and schools, and especially in daycares. And you can completely customize this. There's different shapes to choose from. You can add your own animated background. You can even add messages that show up when nobody's playing on the floor. So I'm going to show you how I made this effect and how you can make it, and all of the equipment that you need is going to be linked in the description. If you have any questions, you can contact me at info@lumoplay.com or leave a comment underneath this video and I'll get back to you. Now let's head over to my design computer and I'll show you how I made this falling stars effect. I'm using LUMOplay Maker to create my interactive floor effect today. LUMOplay has two different paid options. There's Lumo Playground, which comes with over 350 different apps and effects and is designed primarily for schools and for education. And then there's LUMOplay Maker, which is our agency license. And LUMOplay Maker will allow you to publish as many apps as you want to using our templates. So this is definitely the best option if you're planning on making a lot of different custom effects and games. One thing before I start, if you're doing what I'm doing, which is designing my experience on a different computer than the one that I'm using to run my interactive floor, you just have to make sure that the resolution on your display is the same as the resolution that you're using on your floor or wall. So just double check your display settings. You can right click on the desktop and go to display settings to see what your native resolution is, and just make sure that the design computer matches. Otherwise, you might end up creating something that's 4K for an interactive floor that's only 1080p, and there's no reason to make something that's bigger than you need it to be. It also won't necessarily look the same on your installation if the display settings on your design computer are different than the display settings on your installation. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to click on Motion Maker. This is where all of our templates live, and the template that I want to use to create my falling stars effect is falling shapes. I'm going to click create, and there's two different parts of the template that will pop up. These are all the settings, and this is your preview, and you can use your mouse to test your preview, or if you are designing your experience on the actual interactive floor wall installation and you have your camera already connected, then you will be able to test this using your camera. I'm going to start by naming my effect. So I'm calling it Falling Stars. And I can click save, but it will also save pretty much every time I make a change, so I don't need to do that quite yet. I'm going to show you the overlays section, even though I don't generally use those in my tutorials. This is where you would put a logo, so if you want a logo to float over your effect, you can put it here. You can put a mask, so if you want your effect to be a circle or a star or a triangle or any shape, then you can put in a mask, and all of these are PNGs with transparency. So the mask would be a black frame around your effect that leaves a transparent area in the shape that you want your projected surface to be in. And then the last thing is an idle, and the idle is an image that will show up on the screen when nobody is interacting. So this is a good place to put something like touch to start or walk on me or play with me. It'll be a message that invites people to come and interact with your display. And it's something that is really great for brands, for calls to action, and especially if you're putting your interactive display in a place where people might not know it's interactive without that messaging there. I'm going to close the overlays section and upload a new background. So I made a background for this experience, and it's kind of like a looping video that just shows sort of a nebula type effect in the background. And then pretty much all of the changes that you're going to make in this template are in the falling shapes section. So there's a bunch of different shapes that you can choose from. We've got balls, we've got boxes, coins, donuts, stars, hearts, and snowflakes. I'm going to turn the maximum allowed shapes down just so that I can show you what these look like. So here's some boxes. And coins. Donuts. Stars, which is what I'm going to use today. And then hearts. And the last shape that you can have are snowflakes. We take requests, so if there's a shape missing that you think we should add to this list, just let us know. There's also a bunch of different surfaces, materials that you can choose from, so I'm going to change this back to stars and just show you what those look like. So this is normal, so this is just the color with some shading. The shiny, which is kind of the same, but it's more of a metallic material. And flat, which is basically just the color. There's some shadow on it, but it's pretty dim. Then there's the tune setting. So this tune material is more if you're making something that you want to look somewhat 3D or tune shaded. It really makes the colors pop, so there's definitely a lot that you could do with this. Plastic, which is my favorite and which is the default, and then glass, and this is what glass looks like. I'm going to change it back to plastic because that's what I want to use. And then I'm just going to change the white stars to yellow because I really like the default colors with this background. I think it looks really pretty. So I'm going to leave it like that. You can change the size of the objects that are falling. You can make them really big, which is going to give you a very interesting effect, or you can make them super tiny. So they just look like little bits of confetti. I'm going to kind of use the default size because I think that looks really great. And most of these templates, the defaults are, we've made thousands and thousands of interactive experiences, so we tend to set our defaults at what we think looks best most of the time. Size variants will give you a bunch of stars that are different sizes, and when you're working with these templates and there's already assets on the screen, sometimes you need to push them away and clear them before you can see the changes that you're making. And then I already changed the amount per second and the max allowed, so I've cranked up the number that can fall per second to the highest possible number, but I've turned the max allowed down, which is how many are allowed on the screen at the same time, and I find that this gives the best results. It balances it between the kind of chaos of things falling and the path that forms when you move. And that's it. That's my entire effect, my stars effect. So I'm going to click save just to be safe and then close this. And it will give me a template. I did make another one. It'll give me the template with the thumbnail that it saved last. And I'm just going to delete this one that I'm not using so that I don't get confused. And if I want to go back in and change it, I can click edit. Once I'm done and I know I'm not going to be making any more changes, I can click publish, and this will give me a warning that says that once my app is published, I won't be able to change it again. So it's really important that you make sure that you're not going to be making any more changes before you click this. And once you do, it'll upload your custom effect to our server and you'll be able to access it from any installation that's connected to your account. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this week's tutorial and that you came away knowing how easy it is to make an interactive floor effect like this. And I would love to help with your project. So if you plan on putting in an interactive floor or wall, you can leave a comment below this video, or you can contact me directly at info@lumoplay.com. I encourage you to check out our website, lumoplay.com. We just launched a new site. I'm really excited about it. We have a form on the site that you can use to contact a reseller that's near you if you're looking for a complete solution. We only sell the software, but if you need hardware and installation, we have partners all over the world who can help you. And I want to thank everyone who watches these videos. If you stayed to the end, it really means a lot to me. It means a lot to my team. We're very small, and this is the only way that we advertise our software, is by teaching people how to use it. So if you have an idea for an app or a game that you'd like me to make, or you have any questions about interactive projection in general, I'm a total nerd and I am at your disposal. I'll be back next week with another tutorial.